Hoka Hey Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of November the 3rd, 2023. General Alita Discussion, Anything Goes, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, the Muskogee Creek from Denver, Colorado, and with me here is Lee. He's from Fountain, Colorado. How's it going there, Lee?
Hello, going pretty good.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because I think, did you guys get a lot of snow down there here about a few days ago?
We got a night's, well, maybe about a day and a half's worth of snow because it melted really fast.
Oh, did it? Yeah,
Yep.
we got like 10 inches up here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it took a day and a half, I guess, for it to melt. So yeah, I guess about the same as you, I guess, pretty much. So
Okay.
and also joining us is Do Not Stand By. He's from Arvada, Colorado. How's it going, Do Not Stand By?
Going great. How about you, Creek?
Oh, real good, real good. Yeah, Lee and I were just talking about the snow we had, just I guess a couple of days ago or a few days ago. Is kind of weird because it was like 65 degrees one day and then 2 days later it's snowing. So really, that's Colorado weather for you. So how's everything in Arvada there? Do Not Stand By.
Yeah, it's been okay. I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's been a pretty busy week.
Yeah. How's your project going? You were working on some community project, weren't you, or something?
Oh, I'm working on a startup company, and we're working on going IPO. So we're probably
nice.
Probably a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know my company has landed a pretty nice size contract. Actually, my client, but I kind of worked very closely with them. We landed a really nice contract, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's going to be a kind of a cool thing. But anyway, we don't need to talk about business here. We want to talk about Alita here, don't we? So, well, it's good to have you guys on board. We got the Colorado contingent today. I think Angelus, you know him. He's probably half awake and he's trying to get his coffee going and stuff like that. So he's because he's down there down under, so he's probably barely going, as they would say at this point.
Yep.
Well, before we get to the main topic, I checked this morning, the sequel petition. We've added probably in the last couple of weeks, I'd say about 20 signatures, I guess. So it's still going up pretty good. I mean, certainly the Creek would want 1,000 signatures a day, but that'd be a little unrealistic, I think. So anyway, we want to get our girl. We want to get her that sequel. Because a lot of those folks, Rosa and Elle and well, I guess Kian's not going to be it unless it's a dream sequence type thing. But, we want this sequel for them, but we also want it for us because we're greedy and we want that damn sequel, Disney. So give it to us. So any thoughts, guys, on that?
Can't say I do. Seems like you covered it pretty good.
Yeah, well, there's not much to say because we do want the sequel, and that there is no argument about that. Also, we got the hero arm thing going on now. I've been remiss on promoting this thing the past week because I've been kind of busy. As we were talking, Do Not Stand By and I were talking about Lee, about being so busy. I think all three of us have been pretty busy, and so I haven't been tweeting this out like I like doing. But we've got pretty good money in the bank. That 2263 is not all we have. We've got roughly, I haven't checked. I know I put a small deposit in yesterday in the bank, but we got somewhere around maybe a little over $3,600 in the bank. So we're not broke, but we want definitely to get some more money in there. So if you want, just you can click on that link. It's down in the description. To donate to the hero arm, or if you feel a little intimidated by going on a link like on a website like this, which there's really no reason to be, but if you are, then we've also got a tip jar down there, and I think that might be a little more user friendly. But either way, that money is going to go toward this this Hero Arm campaign. But we also have used this money too to fly that plane around the around the Disney headquarters. And I think you guys probably remembered we had a mass tweet that it did okay, I think, but I'm not sure it trended. I mean, I think a lot of folks, I saw a lot of tweets on it, but we're probably short of that and of having it trend. It could have trended, I don't know, but at least we got the tweets out there and people know that we're still here, that we still want the sequel. So, excuse me, we still want the sequels.
Yep.
That's what we want. Absolutely. We not just a sequel. And I'll tell you what the Creek wants. Your pal Gary V, he wants not only a sequel, but he wants a trilogy. And truth be known, I want 6 movies, and I want a series, both live action and anime, and I want Alita merch, and I also want games, Alita games. Excuse me. And as a matter of fact, a friend of mine has a business in the Southwest Plaza Mall here in Littleton. And I've been talking to, well, they actually 2 of these guys run this business in there. And it's kind of like that, they sell action figures and T-shirts and, that kind of stuff, and I kind of struck up a deal with him. I said, hey, if I buy some, something like a Hot Toys Alita and give it to you, will you sell it? And he said, yeah. I said, well, you can keep 90% of the profit on it. And he said, nah, I'll split it with you, so anyway, I got an agreement there. So what I think one of the things I'm going to do is probably buy a couple of, maybe 3 Hot Toys Alita and take them to him, and then say, hey, here they are, and tell him how much it costs and that kind of stuff, and let him set the price. So we get some more Alita merch out there, as they would say. So, all right, guys, and Angelus is still not here because one of the topics in this he wants to really talk about, and I guess you know which one that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, exactly. So I guess, well, we've only got 2 people in the chat, so there you have it. Here's some possible topics, whether we like anime, manga, or movie Alita. Now, I bet my gut feeling would be that probably anime Alita would be in 3rd place here. Although I did enjoy the anime. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's good, and I've seen it maybe 3 times, but certainly the movie is, I've seen that sucker over 60 times. So, and I've read the manga. And at one time, I guess Angelus and I were threatening to reread the manga, but he got way ahead of me because I got busy and I couldn't keep up with him. So we kind of suspended that, but we'll probably pick that up again, pretty soon, because I did get volume 9 of Mars Chronicles, which is pretty cool. I haven't read it yet, but I do plan on reading it. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, in terms of the manga, we got the Mars Chronicles, we got the original manga, and we got the Last Order. Now, Lee, have you and Do Not Stand By, have you guys read any of the manga? I know you've read the manga, but I mean, have you read all 3 of them?
No, I actually have not done anything with Mars Chronicles for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them being I don't really have any access to them. Haven't been able to find them online or anything. And I certainly can't afford to buy any of them.
Yeah. Okay.
The other one being what little I did catch of, little snippets of it here and there with somebody doing a review or something on an issue.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit too weird for me, I think.
Yeah, Alita's her origin is pretty wild,
And just a little out there.
Yeah, it is. And I think if they do like an anime for kids, they'll have to change that, because that's gonna be too creepy for little kids. I think, I mean, you got to it
depends on the age of the kids too.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like preteens or something like that, they usually aren't too terribly bothered by, odd stuff like that.
Yeah. but little kids, you know, like 6-year-olds and
Well, I
stuff like
don't
that.
imagine any of them
Yeah,
would want to be seeing something like that. I mean, I don't really see this
yeah,
being a story that could be, well, to for lack of a better term, kidified for children that young. I think
yeah.
preteen might be the lowest you want to go.
Do not stand by. You've read the manga, haven't you?
Yeah, I've read about half of The Last Order, and I've read most of Mars Chronicles,
Oh, okay.
along with the original series.
Yeah. Yeah, Mars Chronicles is kind of it's kind of put together in a kind of a weird fashion in a way. I mean, a lot of it tracks chronologically, but when you get to volume 7, it's like they jump way ahead, you know, they jump up to, I guess, after Last Order or something. And then 8 and 9 are kind of in between that. So I haven't read 9 yet. I just kind of scanned through it. I haven't really read it. So my thought is what they could do is that, you know, since it is kind of organized a little bit differently than the original and the Last Order, is that they could take maybe parts of it that they could kidify, as Lee would say, and have that for little kids. You know, I mean, like for instance, when they are running around on Mars in volume 1, and that guy that had that RV, I can't remember his name now, you know, they were driving to New Caledonia or whatever, not New Caledonia, whatever that place was called, you know, and he was helping them, you know, and they had adventures and stuff like that. I think they could kidify that, you know. Now when they get to the point to where, you know, Alita is a more grown up and stuff like that, that's going to be tough for them to kidify that one, because there's a lot of brutality in it and stuff like this, you know. It's got vampires and stuff, so it's going to be pretty tough for them to kidify that. But I think they could split it up in a way. They have to pick their shots, but I think they could split it up in such a way that they could, you know, that they could kidify some of it and have some for teens and some for us adults, I guess. So anyway, any thoughts you guys on that, about how they might do that?
Well, if they left some of the more mature stuff out, sure, but I wasn't really sure how much of the sort of kid level stuff might be in Mars Chronicles, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to. I think they could extract some stuff, but it'd be pretty limited, I think. You know,
Mm.
like that part where I guess Gelda rescues Alita and Erica. You know, when those mercenaries are trying to make them walk across the minefield.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could do something with that. You know, but yeah, you're right. I think there's not a lot of the story in the Mars Chronicles that's gonna be easily adapted for kids.
Yeah, Kashiro does not seem to pull punches with the brutality, so.
No, he does not, which is one reason I like the manga in general, because I like action and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, by the way, do not stand by. Has your daughter ever read any of the manga, or did she just watch the movie with you?
She'd only watched the movie. I don't think she's as interested in Alita as I am, but I hope that will change when the sequels come out.
Yeah. Well, surely she's got to identify with, you know, that scene you were telling me where she slams her fist on the table, you know, and bends it. Your daughter has to love that scene.
Oh yeah, for sure. She very much identifies with the rebelliousness against Ito.
Yeah.
And that was even before she was a teenager. She saw it when she was about 10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's been around, had 4 years. So yeah. So yeah, I guess if you compare, now, like I say, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I think if you ran a race between that first bullet there, anime, manga, and movie Alita, probably anime would come in third, wouldn't it? If you could see it as a race.
Well, for me, it would. I mean,
yeah,
I guess it's based on how I was introduced to Alita
yeah,
more fully was the movie. The movie still
yeah,
holds a higher place for me just because it brought her to life in a way the manga just failed to do for whatever reason.
yeah. I agree with you. I kind of, you know, I think the anime would be third. I mean, what about you? Do Not Stand By. Do you agree, or what's your thoughts on that?
For sure, I agree. And I'm one of the people who saw the anime first before everything
Ah,
else, before even reading the manga, and way before the movie. I saw it back around 1993, 1994.
yeah.
Yeah, even though the anime introduced me to Alita first, I don't think it really tied together her story in a way that makes you relate to her and makes you care for her like the movie does.
Mhm. I see Angelus is out in the chat. My suspicion is that he's probably been called into work. So, because that happened to him yesterday, he got called into work. So anyway, and I left him a message. He said, we were trying to discuss what we were going to do. We got one thing we'll talk about. We get down to the last bullet that Angelus and I have thought up. We're going to start doing is going to be kind of cool. And we'll talk about that. But, yes, Angelus, Alita is the uwu queen. Of course. Yeah, she is. Yeah, her and Rosa, they got uwu, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, yeah, with me, I'm kind of like you guys. I mean, I did see Alita in the manga. I mean, I didn't read the manga seriously. I mean, I remember my second wife, she used to go to this when I lived in North Carolina. She'd go to this sewing shop, and she was taking a class because I think she was wanting to do quilting or something like this. I can't remember, but and while she was in there, because there's nothing I can do in there. There was a comic book store down in the same little strip mall, and they had some of the manga of the original manga in that comic book store, and I went in there and I remember seeing it. I guess the part where I think it was when I was scanning through it, I saw the motorball although I didn't really register on me that much. And I kind of read through it and I said, yeah, Alita's kind of cute and stuff like that, but it didn't really strike me. I mean, it didn't drive me to buy the manga and start reading it and stuff like that. And then after my second wife completed that class, I mean, we rarely went into that strip mall, except I used to go in there to get my hair cut as well, but I didn't go to the comic book store when I did that. So that was back in, say, 2003, I guess, maybe 2004, somewhere in 2005, even, I don't know, somewhere in that area. And then the movie came out. And of course, when I saw the trailers for the movie, I kind of remembered who she was, but it didn't make any impact on me. I said, oh, nah, I don't want to see this, that kind of thing. And by the way, that is something I regret to this day, because if I'd have watched the movie to begin with, I would have been in the Alita army in
much sooner.
Yes, right. I'd have been right there in February or March of 2019, but better late than never. So for me, I guess it's pretty close between the manga and the movie. I get
a little bit like that for me, because even though I didn't initially get hooked on the manga, once the movie brought her to life, it sort of ignited my interest in the manga quite a bit more.
Yes, that's the way it was for me too. And I bet Do Not Stand By now. Do Not Stand By does these showings outside, which are really cool, especially now that you're doing it on the side of your neighbor's house. So was that the same for you? Is the movie your favorite or the manga there, Do Not Stand By?
Oh, the movie by far. I like the manga more than the anime because you really get to see her story fleshed out in the original series, and I enjoyed that for the few years after I saw the original manga, the original anime. But it really wasn't until the movie that my interest got reignited, and it's because of the movie that I've really done everything I can to try to get other people interested in Alita.
Yeah. I know I've said in the past that I like the manga more, and I say I like the movie more, and I kind of go back and forth. I like the manga a lot because it's kind of like you were saying, Do Not Stand By. There's a lot of detail in there, man. I mean, it really dives deep into Alita's world and and her and stuff like that. And I really like that. But the movie is, you know, of course, you can't dive as deep into a movie like that. Plus, it's only 2 hours long. But God, man, Rosa did such a great job on acting that thing. God almighty.
Yep.
You know, it's hard. I mean, I think it's just a goddamn travesty that she wasn't nominated for an Oscar for that one. Because, I mean, you know, it's just freaking ridiculous that not even get any kind of mention at all, you know.
Yeah. Just proof to me that award shows are a joke anyway. So
yes. Now I do know that I think Rosa is on the Academy board now. I think she is. I don't know. I don't know. I have to look it up somewhere, you know. But anyway, yeah. So I kind of go back and forth, you know, about that, you know, and especially I guess when I see the movie, then the movie's number one, because I watch the movie from time to time, and I'm careful not to watch it a lot because
don't
I'm
want to get
afraid
burned
I'll
out on it.
burned out. That's exactly right, Lee. And after I watch the movie, I'll say, "Oh, the movie's number one," you know. And then I'll read some of the manga, reread pieces of it, and I say, "Oh, wow, this is great." And then the manga's number one, you know. But you know, I guess it just goes back and forth for me, you know, because they're both great. And I do like the anime. I really do. You know, I think it leaves Motorball out, which you know, I kind of wish they had that in there. And it's not long enough either. I think was it an hour? Is that what it is? Something like that.
Yeah, that's
Around
right. Yeah, it's 2
Yeah.
episodes. Each one's about half an hour.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, but well, anything with Alita in it is, you know, it's going to have my attention, you know.
Yep.
Angelus, you turkey. 2005 or 2005 years ago. Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess I am an 8,000-year-old power lifter. So I guess that makes that happen, you know. As a matter of fact, a funny story came up today. I was talking with a friend, you know, and I was supposed to meet a couple of friends of mine for lunch, you know, and they one of them was saying, you know, the one lady said, she said, "You're pretty cute for an old guy." That's what she told me, you know. And I said, "Girl, you two should look this good when you get my age." So anyway, you know, but that's what it is, you know. So, well, what about the, I guess, the underlying story of Alita? Now, I got it up there as Alita's backstory. And of course, there is also the prequel novel, you know, and the novelization. But what about that one, or say Motorball or the Zot? What are your guys' takes on that? Which one, or all three of them, actually?
I think for me, it's the first two. As of which ones we like more, or okay, first two probably. The Last Order, I certainly enjoyed it quite a bit, but it just didn't quite have the same hit the same for me, I guess, as much as the original with Motorball and everything in it.
Yeah. How about you? Do Not Stand By.
Well, I can't say about the Zot because I haven't gotten there yet in I haven't gotten there yet in the Last Order. But to me, the Motorball and her backstory are really they're really intricately tied.
Yeah, I think for me, God, I like, you know, this is ridiculous. People ask me, "What do you like about Alita?" And I say everything. So, you know, that's, you know, what can you say, you know? I think one of the things about the Zot that I do like a lot is that Alita's power level. I mean, she is insanely OP in the Zot. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, she's kind of like, in some ways, she's in the same ballpark as Superman in some ways, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, she can run near the speed of light. She has immense strength, you know, and she can hack systems. That's something Superman can't even do, you know. And just in that Zot, when she fight, well, I don't want to give it away because Do Not Stand By hadn't got there yet, but she's just insanely good fighter. Now, she's an insanely good fighter no matter what body she's in. I mean, she whipped the shit out of those 3 cyborgs in the alley, and she was in her doll body. So you can imagine, had she fought those 3 in her berserker body, I mean, that fight wouldn't have lasted as long as it did even then, you know. So so anyway, yeah, I guess well, hell, I love all 3 of them. I don't know what to say about that. You know, I do love the motorball thing too, because of her and Joshigan, you know. And it really speaks to me as a competitor, where she fights Joshigan at the end, and Joshigan actually beats her, but he dies, you know. And she wakes up, I guess, in Ito's clinic after being, you know, punched through the stomach, you know, that kind of thing. And she's remorseful that she didn't get to know Joshigan because of his immense strength and power and stuff like that. And she admired it, you know. And that's kind of the way I feel when I compete. There are guys there, because I mean, you know, I'm in a master category. I'm not competing against pros, you know. And people, now I do now, I don't want to brag too much, but I do beat about half of these people on bench press. That's for sure. But the pros can lift they can lift an insane amount of weight. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. They can deadlift 600 pounds and stuff like that. And it's just ridiculous, you know. And I look at that and it's like, God, I admire that. You know, I mean, it's just amazing, you know. But yeah, anything about Alita, I love it. You know, I mean, it's I can't get enough of it, you know. So, and that's the same is true with the movie too. I mean, you know, once again, Rosa was so great. You know, I mean, damn, she's a good actor. You know, damn it, come on, Disney, give us that damn sequel. So anyway, yeah, not the furniture. That's right. I love that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you have it. Yeah, she comes. Alita comes to the Kansas bar in Denver. I have to tell her, not the furniture, Alita. Of course, if she breaks the furniture, what am I going to do? I mean, you know, that's the way it goes.
Yep.
Well, what do you guys think about the relationship between her and these 3 characters? And I forgot, I should have added Chaos, because even though her feelings for Chaos were platonic, you know, and of course with Ito, her feelings are as more of a fatherly type thing. But certainly with Hugo and Figure 4, she loved them. You know, I mean, she, you know, that was her significant other. Go ahead, Lee.
Well, I was just going to say, that's one of the things I was just about to comment on, was if Joshigan had lived, would she have developed a relationship with him instead?
You know what?
Considering her admiration, I mean, how much she admired him.
Yeah, well, you know, in the manga, she had his poster up in her room when she had her apartment, didn't she?
There was also when they first met in the markets out in the streets.
Yeah.
After they had that arm wrestling contest and he walked off, she was smiling. And when I think it was Ed asked her about that, she said it's like she had never met a man like that.
Oh my God. Yeah, I had forgotten about that. Yes, I agree. I think her and Joshigan would have become an item, I think, because
it's either I've never met a man like that, or I didn't think a man like that existed. Something along those lines.
Yeah, that's right. Because if you look at that, yes, Angela, it's the ooh-woo on that bottom image right there. And Joshigan sees that. How is he going to resist that? It's not going to happen, you know. So yeah, I agree with you. I think probably it was very likely, say that they had that, whoever would have won that match, you know, say it wasn't a battle like that where Joshigan dies, you know, because Alita doesn't die, you know. I mean, she gets fixed up, but you know, he does. If he had not died, I definitely think they would have had a relationship. I think they definitely would have become an item. And they would have been think of this whole alternate universe that they could have gone off. They would have been the king and queen of motorball. So that would have been super, you know. So yeah, I agree with you. And of course, Figure 4 is my favorite. You know, I mean, like I've said in the past, my feelings for Hugo have evolved. you know, I thought basically in the movie when I few times I saw the movie, I thought it was just a little shit, you know. I mean, he treated Alita well, but in the movie, but you know, making that
Certainly
deal.
much better than the manga.
Oh yeah, the manga, he was awful too.
I mean, he actually fell in love with her at the end of the movie, or right
Yeah.
before the end of the movie, actually.
Yeah, or the
Enough
end
that
of,
he was willing to give up Zalem for her.
yeah. Well, he actually in the manga he falls in love with her too. He said, I'm glad I got to know you," or something like that. But that was at the very end when he's about to fall. You know, well, I guess
Yeah.
it's so. But you're right. I think, or Hugo was his name in that one, I guess. Yeah, Lita was chasing him all over the place, and he was not having it. He wanted to go to Zalem, you know. So,
Yep.
and here he
And
has
she
this.
was just a distraction to that.
Well, here was this fantastically pretty waifu, you know, and he can't handle this. Come on, pal.
He
You
couldn't
know,
pull his head out of the clouds.
that's exactly right, you know. So any thoughts there, do not stand by, about possible relationships there? I know we've had a couple of streams on this where we went into a lot of detail, but what's your thoughts? And you could give us a fatherly even kind of perspective, you know, from Ito's perspective. What's your take?
Oh, for sure. I'd love to see James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez, as well as Lita Kalogridis, come up with a different direction for Alita and Ito in the movie sequels than with the manga. Yeah, I really feel that the manga doesn't, to me, doesn't do justice to the relationship between Ito and Alita. I felt that their relationship got cut off a little bit too early for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Ito's story arc in the manga very much, whereas I think he really came to Alita's fully supporting Alita over the course of the first movie. And I would like to see a different direction in the sequels than what happened in the manga.
Maybe expanding on their father-daughter relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be nice. Yeah, that would be just because, you know, at the end of the movie, and I think you said something to me about this, do not stand by, but at the very end when she says, "Thank you, Father," you know, or not the very end, but when she goes off to kick ass and take names, as they would say, you know, she says, "Thank you, Father," when he says, "You're the only one built for this." Man, I mean, you know, I've got 3 stepkids, and even though they're my stepkids, I still identified with it. You know, it's just, God, it was so touching. You know, I went, God, you know, I mean, you know, Alita is, she's a sweetheart, you know, there she is, you know. So yeah, I agree with you. So yeah, thank you, Father. That was, I wish they would, I hope they do that too, the more of the interplay. And what do you think about it? Do not stand by, you know, in the manga, you know, Alita and Ito kind of split, don't they? Because she gets, I guess, gets her apartment, and they kind of.
Well, in the manga, she splits because of the heartbreak from losing Hugo. She basically discards Ito, which was rather cold-blooded.
Yeah, I think so. And there was that one scene at the motorball track where he tried to get her attention, and she just blew him off. You know, it's like it wasn't until Ito finally confessed to her that she was the closest person that he had to a family, and he loved her and all that stuff. And in that panel, you could just see her melt, you know. But it's kind of like Angela said there, kind of like with Hugo, too little, too late, you know, because it wasn't long after that, I guess, that Nova got a hold of him and put him in a box. So,
yeah,
you know, so it wasn't, you know,
Nova seemed to have a habit of putting people in boxes.
Yeah, turkey. So, yeah, but what do you think about that? Do not stand by a different arc for them where they don't split like that, but they are intimate, you know, intimately entwined as father, daughter, and he's her tuner and stuff like that. Kind of like what Lee has in his story. What do you think about that? What angle would that look like, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, I think that it's implied from the first movie that Alita is in her new body, and she's about to rise to the Champions League because of Ito. and I'd really like the sequel to start off with explaining how that came to be, how Ito came to really fully support her and help her get to the Champions League. He was already fully committed to Alita making things right and taking down Vector at the end of the first movie. I'd like to see that story of how he fully supports her as truly her father figure in her rise to the Champions League. From there, there's a lot of different directions they could take as to whether she goes the route that the manga has, in that she loses to Joshkin, or they take the story in a different direction, that she does directly go to Zalem from the Champions League. I'd really like to see what they decide to do.
Oh, you mean you think maybe she beats Joshigan or what?
Well, depending on how many movies they're able to do, and whether they would have time to do the full Badlands arc, I can see a potential route where maybe it's not a final showdown with Josh Gunn, or maybe she finds a way besides the Champions League to get to Zalem, or maybe she does win over Josh Gunn. So there's a lot of different ways that they could go. But definitely things are very different in the movie with regards to her relationship with Ito, and also with the way that Nova is set up as a villain. He is the main final dragon that must be slain in the movie.
Yes.
While in the manga, he was more like an on again, off again, sometimes an enemy of hers and sometimes an ally.
Yeah.
He's a twisted frenemy.
Yeah, that's right. Boy, that was good, Lee. I mean, I hadn't thought of it like that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Odd John says, "What's in the box?" I don't know if you're being funny, Odd John, or not, but there's a part in the, I guess in the manga where Alita goes, I guess, after Nova. He's down in a like a lab or something like this on the ground, and also Ito is in there as well, and basically Nova, meets Ito, and basically just, after they talk, and Ito meets Eli, and Eli starts hitting on him and stuff like this.
I think
he ends up in pieces, kind of like Shirin is in her box, and he puts him in the box.
Ajahn might be quoting from the movie Seven, where at the end of the movie, a box is delivered to the main characters out in the desert, and he asks, "What's in the box?"
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything more on that because if people haven't seen it, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you want to come on the stream, there's the link. Just click on that link. Come on and chat with us. We would love to have you on here, so we can talk about Alita, and if all you want to do is come on and say, "I love Alita," and get off, you can do that. No problem.
Yeah. Something else I was going to say too, I would like to see Gerhard get more screen time, because she was originally in an interview with Idara Victor, the woman who played Gerhard. It was hinted at that she was originally supposed to be something of a mother figure to Alita, but she never really got the chance to develop that in the movie.
Yeah. Well, it certainly comes across that way in the novelization.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. I think that'd be great to see that parental kind of how would you say, relationship with Ito and Gerhard, and how Alita, how that how she reacts to it, or how it impacts her, or something like that. Somebody that's been asleep for 300 years, and probably didn't know much of her. Well, if you've read the Mars Chronicles, there's not much of a story of where she finds out what her parents are. And of course, the origin itself is pretty weird. So that, she technically, I guess you could say she's got a parent, but we won't go any further than that. So, let's ruin the manga for, spoil it, so.
Oh, speaking of maternal figure, there's Shirin. She's not in the manga.
Yeah.
So there's another opportunity here that it might be a motivation for Ito to try to save Shirin because she's still alive. And that
Assuming that the lackeys of the factory didn't send her parts up to Zalem.
Yeah. Or that
'Cause
they
she
did, you mean?
Or that they, assuming that they didn't.
Oh, okay.
Because her parts did get left there, as far as we know. So it could be
Yeah.
that there was a whole, automated system in place where the workers would go in, do what they usually do with the parts that Vector prepares for Nova, and they take them away and ship them up to Zalem.
Yeah.
Like they have probably hundreds of other times.
Well, I don't think Nova would forget. I think Nova had a grudge against Shirin for helping out Alita. So I think
Well, that's part of
Yeah.
what I was getting at. Yeah, I mean, it's like more than likely she's ending up in Zalem.
Yeah, because she's in the box. It is hooked up to a power source, isn't it? Because that
Yeah.
stuff was running and stuff like this. So
Yeah, she was basically prepared to be shipped. So.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I could see, some custodian of some sort around there, a janitor, or not just that, some systems guys
Some
show
sort of
up.
workers.
Yeah, that's right. Show up and take that box, and they just continue what Vector was going to do and ship her up
Because there's
there.
lots of other employees in that building that Vector was in. It was just focused on Vector at the time. Because
Yeah,
somebody's gonna have to come in there, clean up the office, and do something and dispose of the bodies.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's interesting that, well, I guess Vector or Nova said told Alita, when you walk out of here, the factory won't come after you this time. So I guess even though they know that she killed Vector, they're not coming after her because Nova said you're not coming after her or going after her. So, so yeah. Yeah, that whole scene with her and Vector, man, that was wild. That's more like manga Alita, that one. Up to that point, she was pretty much, sweet Alita, and people seeing her as the pretty girl with Uwu and stuff like that. And then she gets into that office, takes out those Centurions, kills Grishka, and goes after Vector. She's definitely manga Alita in that scene.
Yeah, that was definitely the killer side of her.
Yeah, and God, Rosa pulled that off well too, because that's such a different kind of such a different, just basis for the character than it was at the beginning. I mean, and she pulled that one off too as well. So
Yep.
Yeah. John Angelus says, get on the stream. If you want to, man, come on. We'd love to have you on here. Angelus certainly couldn't make it, so hey, do it. We'd love to have you. Anybody else out there, come on the stream. We'll chat with you about it. Okay, is there any, and now before we get to the Uwu, because we got to get to the Uwu, because that Angelus is out there. Well, the Creek really likes her Uwu too, that's for sure. But yeah, before we get to that, is there anything else about Alita that we're maybe missing here? I mean, in her story that maybe would be a kind of a cool thing to see in the sequels or something like that. Oh, that's pretty funny, Sin of Sanity. Yeah, she gets in the bar, and the Hunter Warriors, she's really pissed them off, gotten under their skin, as he says. And she's supposed to be this little girl, but actually she's older than they are. She's 300 years old. Yeah, that's a good catch right there, I think. So, but anyway, can you guys think of anything in her backstory like that, or her, just her world that maybe that we could investigate more, I guess?
What happened during her attack on Zalem? Like maybe what happened to Gerhad? I mean, the two of them survived the initial that defense ring cutting the supply tube in half.
Oh, you mean Gelda? You mean
Gelda? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, Gelda. Yeah, God, that's right. What did happen to Gelda? Yeah, you're right, because certainly Alita survived. Now, you know, they thought she was dead, you know, from what I gathered in the movie verse. Yeah, she's, you know, I guess they find her in the scrapyard, you know, but if anybody's read the manga, there was, you know, where they capture her, they basically cut her arms and legs off and put her in this chair and have her strapped into it and bolted into it. And
Oh,
they're
there's
just,
also the thing that Nova mentioned too when they were talking, or he was talking through Vector.
yeah,
And he called her Alita, says, not your real name, of course, which means
yeah,
he knows a lot more about her than
yeah,
definitely knows more about her than is letting on. So it's like,
yeah,
how
that's,
much more does he know?
yes. Yeah, that's where the Yoko stuff can come in, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, she could discover that, I guess. Well, I mean, there's a couple of ways she could discover it, of course, capturing Nova or the Badlands arc when Chaos touches her. You know, Chaos tries to get frisky with her and she slugs the crap out of him. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that panel. And but he calls her Yoko, you know, and it's like, what'd you call me? Something like that, you know, anyway, or something to that effect, you know. So yeah, how does she discover her real name? You know, because you know, she did tell Ito she loved the name Alita. Can I keep it at least until I find out what my real name is, or something like that, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah. All right, we're gonna get to the uwu, I guess. Well, both of those images you see there got plenty of uwu, I think, you know. And really in the anime, she's got some uwu as well, you know. I don't think as much as in the manga or in the movie, you know. But yeah, you know, Alita's got uwu. Now, remember, Alita is Creek's niece, so you know it's gonna be a little creepy if the Creek starts talking about Alita's uwu.
Mhm.
But you got to recognize that she is really cute, you know. And I think in terms of that uwu, and I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago very briefly, but one of the things that happens with her opponents is they either do one of two things. They underestimate her because they see her as a little girl or a teenager or whatever, or they kind of get enthralled with her uwu, you know. And that's either one of those is a big mistake if you're going to fight her, because she is immensely powerful, even in her berserker body. You know, she is way powerful, you know.
Yep.
So, but anyway, any thoughts on that, guys? You know, on Alita Uwu and how it plays into her as a character and a hunter warrior, let's say.
Well, like you were saying, her small size and very feminine appearance seems to be something that puts people in sort of a tends to have them drop their guard quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts? Do not say, Mike.
Well, in the original anime, I thought that she was not. She wasn't really portrayed as very unique. She was kind of your standard anime heroine at the beginning, but I think the point when she became unique was when Gruishka killed a dog and she wiped
Yeah.
blood on her cheeks, and that's when she became unique. She became her own character in the anime.
Yeah.
But what I loved about the movie was that she was way beyond Hulu from the start when Rosa portrayed her as waking up and trying to figure out who she was and being in awe of the world that she's in. She was already Uwu from the beginning, and she had a
Yes.
very different arc in the movie versus the anime.
Yeah.
And I really credit Lita Kalogridis and James Cameron for writing her that way.
Yes. Yes. That's a good point. And I'll tell you too, in terms of the uwu as well, there are like several shots of Alita, you know, in the movie that, you know, if she's like you see sideways, or like when she's on the table, you know, when I guess when Ito is kind of that first scene where he's putting her in the doll body, and you see her laying on the table there, you can really see Rosa. That's really Rosa right there, you know. And you can even see Rosa when she wakes up, you know, and walks to the mirror and stuff. I mean, you know, I can anyway. You have to kind of look hard for it, I guess. But and I think Rosa in an interview at one point had said that they had captured every little pore in her skin, stuff like that, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, Alita's our girl Alita. She's definitely got some woo, doesn't she? I mean, that's for sure.
Yep.
What's this, Angelus? No, Alita train goes. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus, Angelus. Yep, that's pretty funny. Oh, I just want to say one other thing. Okay, now, Angelus, we gotta give Vladi a break here because he has read some of the manga. He's, you know, I think he's still got a way to go, you know, but okay, is there anything else? Because this is going to be a short stream tonight because I have to get off. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go here shortly too.
yeah. Anything else before I go into a little thing that Angelus and I have planned that we're going to start doing? We're not going to do it today because I think Angelus got called into work, you know, and we need to kind of set things up. I've already kind of got an instance set up, but anything else about Alita and any other topic you guys want to bring up that maybe has been gone, maybe not enough attention paid to it or whatever. What's any thoughts, guys?
Well, I'll put out that we've kind of been on hold as an Alita Army because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike.
Yes.
With the actor's strike hopefully being resolved soon, is there going to be a big push for us to get Alita back on the radar for Disney?
Well, we did try to do a mass tweet here a couple of days ago, and it did. I don't think it, Angelus, if you were on, you could tell us, you could say in the chat, I don't think it trended. I do think we got a lot of tweets, but I think a lot of people got caught off guard, I think. And that might have been because we didn't push it hard enough too. You know, that could have been that, you know, but yeah, I hope so. You know, I hope we do more than just a mass tweet. We actually hit all social media, and Vladi suggested that we print up flyers and do stuff like that. So any ideas about that? About how we could further promote Alita?
Other than what has been going on with the mass tweets and things, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I agree. We do not stand by the writer's strike, and the writer's strike is over, obviously, but the actors' strike that's put a big kibosh on some things, hasn't it? I mean, it's just not, you know, things are going pretty slow because of that, you know. And I haven't been seeing a lot of interviews either with actors because of that very reason, I guess. But yeah, we'll have to, over the coming months, I guess weeks and months, once we get Disney realizes that they got to quit rebooting this stuff that they're doing. I mean, they're, you know, I just don't get it. You got such a rich IP that you have with Alita, you know, and they just seem like they're resistant to doing anything with it. You know, maybe it's because it was Fox or something like that. Now, let's all take not solace, but let's all take this into our, you know, something for us to, you know, fight for, is that James Cameron is working on the sequels. He's coming up with a storyline, you know, and he had some to begin with anyway, you know. I mean, anytime a guy is going to sell his house so he could go to Austin, Texas and start working on it, and he says so in an interview, we need to keep that in our minds, you know, because he does want to do it. Him and Rodriguez and Landau all want to do it. Yep. And certainly the actors, Rosa and
Christoph
Waltz and Ed Skrein and these people, they all want to do a sequel. All of them do, you know, and it's just laid out perfect. You know, they could do the even for the second movie being 3 hours, they could do the motorball arc at the first part of it and the Zapan arc in the second part. And then the third movie could be the Badlands arc, you know.
Yeah.
And they could even go further if they want. You know, here's Chaos Nova. How's it going, Chaos Nova, there in Mentor, Ohio?
Going okay. I'm going to be pretty brief.
Okay. Yeah, you're on just in time because, you know, and just if we can't come up with another topic here, I was going to relay what Angelus and I want to start doing. And, well, I guess I'll go ahead and do it unless you guys have another topic with Alita that we can seriously discuss.
Not off the top of my head, I'm afraid.
No, not for me. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, one of the things Angelus and I are going to do is we're going to start doing reaction videos. And in other words, we're going to take Alita Army members' videos, and there are several of them out there, and we're going to play them. Now, we can't stream them because if you stream these things, I know I did a little test on a stream with this stuff, and it had copyright information in it. And I didn't get a strike, but I got a warning. So, you know, we don't want to do that. Now, if you upload a video, that's different, you know, because when you,
right.
you get that,
even then, you got to have interruptions where you're not just playing the video, where it's you making comments.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, or you could even talk over it, I guess, too. But from what I've seen on other reactions, but yeah, you can upload a video. It's copyrighted, and then they'll tell you when they do they kind of scan your video to see if you got copyright information. And usually what'll happen on most of it, it'll say, we've detected copyright information in your video, but the owner is allowing you to use it, you know. So if you get that message, that's okay. Now you need to stay on top of it because sometimes they'll say, no, I don't want that out anymore. And you got to go back and delete the video if that happens. I haven't encountered that yet, but I've known it has happened to a couple of folks. But anyway, God, I'm getting long-winded here, which I kind of do a lot, as you guys know. Anyway, our first reaction video is going to be one that Chaos put together. And, you know, he did a video on, I guess it was a James Bond type theme, you know, License to Kill. And Angelus and I are going to review that. We're going to look at it and comment on it. And yeah, we're going to have our cameras on so you guys get to see our pretty faces. Yeah, so you know, buckle up for that one. So anyway, you know, but we're gonna kind of comment on that guy, look at it, and all that kind of stuff, and do shout outs. In this case, Chaos is going to be our very first one. So Chaos will probably butcher it pretty bad since we don't know how to do this too well. It'll probably be
just remember to because myself and a couple of the people that are sometimes guests with me do it too, is that we take, like, you know, 30 seconds to a minute. And, you know, that's when we interrupt with commentary. And that usually passes enough that, yes, it will be copyrighted, but no, they won't. They're not likely to ask you to take it down.
Well, yeah, the plan is to pause it and then, you know, chat about it a little bit and then let it play. And then, you know, let it play for a while and then pause it again, you know, and talk about it and comment, oh, I really like the way this edit is. And, you know, I really like the music here. And I like how it, you know, that kind of stuff. And if anybody has seen any reaction videos, that's kind of what they do. Now, I have seen videos where they there's one of my favorites on there. Oh, I can't remember her now. She's an Irish girl. Jennings, I think, is her last name. But anyway, it's one of the things about these videos, is particularly with her and this other one I watch, is the expression on their faces. And what they'll do is they'll react to rock and roll, you know. And I particularly like one where this one, I can't remember her first name. Her last name's Jennings, I think. But she watched a Kiss video. And just the look on her face is just priceless, you know. Now, probably Angelus and I won't do that kind of stuff, but we will watch the video. And I think in Chaos's case, this video is a little under 6 minutes. I think it's 5 minutes and 48 seconds or something like that. So we'll play through it. We'll probably play it for, you know, 30 seconds to 45 seconds, somewhere in there, a minute maybe. Pause it, talk about it, even talk about it while it's playing a little bit and then pause it, just kind of play with it and, just kind of set it up and we'll be playing it off of YouTube as well. So we can pause it, and, so you'll also see, the link that you can get, and we'll actually put the link, up on the screen and in the description and that sort of thing. But we can't stream that. We'll have to record it, download it, and then I'll do some editing on it because Angelus and I don't know how to do this shit. We'll probably screw it up pretty good.
I was going to let you know the other videos I did. They're for the Alita Army, so you guys can react to those too.
Okay, I'll
Unbreakable, Motorball Danger. I'll send them to you, and you can just look at the links yourself.
And I so want to do some of Odd John's videos too, because God, he does really good videos.
If we do once a week, we should get a decent number.
I think so.
It should be a once a week deal. I think.
Well, what it'll do, it'll be like a promotion for the video and those content creators, and hopefully that'll drive their numbers up, and the algorithm will drive all Alita videos up, and that can only be a good thing, I think.
Well, I'm sorry to say I got to head out, so.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up here pretty quick, but because I did want to kind of make that announcement about how we're going to do the reaction videos to Alita content. So be on the lookout for that one. Probably what I'll do is Angelus and I, when we can get our schedules linked up here, we might even do it tomorrow after the Radio Chaos stream. We'll see though. I've
got to get ready to head off. So I'll see you guys later.
All right, Lee, we'll catch you, man. Thanks for showing up.
No problem. You guys take care.
Cool. So we'll Angelus and I might try to do it tomorrow, but we'll get this thing going. And what I've been doing is kind of, for most of the part, I didn't do it here a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to have a special video of my dog, so I didn't kind of schedule it like I usually do. But what I usually do is on midnight between Monday and Tuesday, I release a video, and on midnight between Wednesday and Thursday, I release a video. Well, and then I edit the video and do it. What I will do on these is I will have one of these reaction videos probably on a Wednesday night. I'll release it, and then do that once a week. And if it's popular, hell, we'll do it more than that. I don't care, And I know Angelus, wants to do it. So, I think we're good on that, So, okay. So, any thoughts there? Do not stand by. Any other thing we can talk about? Anything maybe that we missed?
No, I think you did a good job covering everything.
Yeah, it's kind of a short stream. If you guys just logging in, I guess we're expecting the typical Creek 3-hour stream. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, thanks a lot. Do not stand by. Chaos, any other last thoughts? He must have stepped away. Well, I guess we didn't miss anything, but as you can see from that center image right there, Alita does love her Uncle Creek. And if you don't like that, you see what you got to deal with. She's got that plasma weapon, and if you piss her off, she can burn you up, is what she can do, because she loves her Uncle Creek. And of course, I always like to do these shout outs to Rosa. That's our queen, Alita Army. Rosa is a superb actress, man. She brought Alita to life, and I'll tell you right now, Rosa, she is #1 in the Creeks book. That's for sure. In terms of being an actress, definitely pulled it off, did a great job. And I'm telling you, great actress. And of course, I also want to do shout outs to Elle Lamont and Jesse Fisher, because they brought Screwhead to life. Elle Lamont did a great job on Screwhead, even though she didn't have a single line, which I think is a travesty, because if you remember from the interview, she has a great voice. I mean, just really calm, soothing to listen to her talk. It's just really, and she was so nice to us on that stream when we interviewed her. It's just great. And of course, Jessie Fisher, she's a really great stunt person. She's You know, she did a lot of the stunts for, you know, for Screwhead. And I think Elle called her the most badass stunt woman she ever worked with. So, you know, there you have it. But I can tell you right now is, you know, all three of these ladies are really great at what they do. That's for sure. And I'm going to say one other thing here too. It doesn't, I say this every week. It sure don't hurt that they're pretty, because they are, and they're great at what they do. So anyway, I'm waxing on lyrically, I guess, as Angelus would and Maxie would say. So, but anyway, yeah, we want these girls back in. Oh, they aren't girls, or women. Sorry. We want these ladies, women back in the sequels. We want that, Disney. Damn it, give it to us. You know, what is this? What is this? And what's got a Muskogee chair? Creaky. Oh, you're hearing this. I guess I got to get the WD-40 out. You know. So anyway, tomorrow on Radio Chaos is going to be another manga reading, and it's going to be things are really going to get interesting here. I think. I believe this is not too. Is this? You tell me. Do not stand by. Is this the beginning of the Japan arc? I don't remember. Or the very tail end of the Motorball arc. I think we've already done the Motorball arc. Angelus, if you were on here, you could definitely tell us that. Of course, certainly you're not. But oh, by the way, Chaos, I do have your three. I'll try to get them in the chat if I can, or at least in the description after the stream's over. So yeah,
all right.
Okay, yeah, I'll put them in the description. Yeah, we're gonna have a manga reading tomorrow, and I think Maxie's gonna be the host. He really likes to do manga readings.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Another thing that Angelus and I want to try to do that as Lee was talking to this a while ago, is we want to try to start doing manga readings on this stream, but for the Mars Chronicles. The problem is we haven't found any Mars Chronicles online, you know, so we're going to be hard pressed to do it, but I'm still looking for it. So
I could try scanning Mars Chronicle.
Say again, Chaos.
I could try scanning the manga and make it as images, but
well, we may have some copyright issues if you do that. So.
That's true.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that, but it's out there somewhere. We just got to hunt it up and find it, you know. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. This is a really short stream tonight. I am so sorry about that. So, yeah, well, a little over an hour. Yeah, it's probably one of our shorter streams, you know. Eye-shaped butterflies. Oh, we could have talked about that for Alita, because she definitely has a problem with butterflies, doesn't she? I like that scene where she shoots the side of that building out trying to shoot that butterfly, and then Figure 4 said, "What the hell was that?" So anyway, yeah, it's real late there, Finn. Yeah.
I recommend the game one. It's the fourth one before the other ones.
Okay. So anyway, join us tomorrow on Radio Chaos. We are definitely going to be reading the manga, and Maxie does a great job on that every time he reads the manga. So we really have a lot of fun on that one. And I guess to wrap things up here, I guess, why is this image here? Well, that image is there because Creek likes it, and you know, and I'm running the stream. And to paraphrase Gawishka, I am only here for our girl. And of course, the Alita Army. And all of us in the Alita Army are only here for our girl. We want that sequel, and not sequels. You see in the upper right-hand corner there, Disney, we want sequels, not a sequel, sequels, plural. So anyway, there you have it. So any last thoughts at all there? Do not stand by.
I'm ready for the call to action.
You betcha. All right, well, let's do it on my count of three then. That would be 3, 2, 1. Film those sequels, baby. Okay, so anyway, thanks. We'll see you next week on the Alita Livestream, and we will see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos.
What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita Livestream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.